All right, guys, it's time for the Season 9 tier list, okay? Now, this is a big shot in the dark. You're going to hear my guess on the meta today. If I get this one right, then I will be on a roll. Not sold on it yet. There's a lot of opportunity, but I think there's definitely a couple big winners and losers coming from this pack, so let's break it down. Bastion, I think, is a winner. I think that he's all, like, his Sentry form, like, that goes into turret with more health means that he's going to get more out of the damage negation, which didn't get nerfed at all. He does so much burst damage. He's going to be one of the few heroes I think can actually pierce through anything, especially with his combo. I think that burst damage is going to be super, super important to get a kill on anything. And he's a tank buster. I think that this type of DPS passive is going to benefit greatly from piercing through the tank. So Bastion's output can pierce through the immortalities. It can pierce through tank cooldowns, and now it's going to reduce health. So a hero like Bastion, I think, is a big, big winner. Cass. I think Cass is going to be garbage, right? Like, he doesn't, I don't know if, like, I find it interesting they didn't change his damage, and they also did not give him more ammo to compensate for players having more health without changing the ammos. I do think the meta is going to be pokey, but, which is a big hint here, you're going to see a lot of poke damage heroes being higher ranked, and I could be wrong. There could be a couple dive heroes that slip in there because of one thing specifically I'll talk about in a bit, but Cass, I think, is terrible. Today's video is sponsored by Boot.dev, and you guys actually have to hear this. This is one of the coolest products I think I've ever seen. They've gamified learning back-end web development in Python and Go in one of the most immersive, this is probably the most immersive learning course I've ever seen. So they've made it an RPG game. There's quests, leaderboards, you can get XP, achievements, and guess what, guys? I got you a discount code Samito, 25% off. But no, this is super, super interesting. Like, I've never seen a product approach learning like this, and it's so fun. Like, this is such a fun way to go about it. There's demos of each build or each course that you want to learn. There's also a little entity that will help you learn these things. You know, their vision is to help you learn in a smarter and more fun way, and this is such a gamer thing to do, which is why I love it, which is why I wanted to take it for you guys today. So, you know, the platform is designed to get you to write a lot of code, and that's the point. If you want to learn, you have to get reps in. I tell you guys this in Overwatch every day. If you want to become a better player, get better aim in the game, you got to get reps in. It's like basketball. You got to shoot the ball if you want to be able to make shots. You got to practice, and they've really mastered that art and integrated it in a really fun learning game kind of way, which is my favorite way to learn. So the people at Boot.dev, awesome product, super cool. You guys should be dang proud of yourselves. This is an awesome way to learn. And guys at home, I got you discount code Samito, 25% off. Super, super sick. Thank you guys for sponsoring today's video. What an interesting way to learn, guys. Please check them out. This is really, really intuitive stuff here, and that's why I'm really happy to have them on the channel. So yeah, guys, go check it out. Wow, Boot.dev, sick. Let's get right into the action here today, guys. Thanks again for sponsoring the video. Let's go. I think Diva's gonna be mid again. She has the ability to DM damage, but she's a big hitbox just for any DPS to hit to negate healing. But she did get more armor than health, I believe, so she will be able to keep her armor up a little bit more, in my opinion. So I think Diva's still going to be mid. Not too many changes from her there. Genji, they didn't buff his shuriken damage, right? Like, they gave him Dragon Blade swings. I don't see him being better than the C tier unless it ends up being like a Jotes meta of some kind. Like, the only way Genji's going to get picked will be if he fits into the meta well, right? That's kind of how Genji's been for a very, very long time. I think it's unlikely it happens, but it could happen. If he's getting picked a lot, then it's probably because he fits in the meta well. The Dragon Blade changes are interesting, but he still won't be able to pierce through the emos. I think he's about the same as he is right now. Maybe C or B tier. Not quite too sure yet. Hanzo. I know everybody's saying Hanzo's going to be terrible, but I think he's just going to be in the same boat as, like, Soldier. Removing his one-shot really sucks, though. I won't lie. Like, you'll never be able to be a threat. I think he lost more than he gained. Like, his consistency will be good. Like, he can still put out consistent damage, but that unique hero identity, and I know a lot of people don't like Hanzo's one-shot. I've been a Hanzo player from the very, very beginning. I'm down to try it, but I'm worried that every character is just kind of becoming Soldier or Sojourn, and unlike Sojourn, like, Hanzo's, like, Storm Arrow is going to be his best follow-up to hitting a headshot, and Sojourn's, if she hits the headshot with the rail, which is hit scan, that's a higher crit rate, she can just quickly right-click and tap somebody really fast with, like, a second shot to get the kill combo, and Hanzo's not better at that than Sojourn, and he doesn't have her mobility. However, you know, he can't one-shot anymore. I don't know. I think Hanzo fits well into a poke meta. So if this game, again, he'll fill into this meta pretty well. Junkrat, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Junk can't one-shot combo anybody anymore. So he's going to be really bad. I think Junkrat's going to be back down in C tier. The Lucio changes. I mean, I think every support is B tier. Like, Lucio has his maps where he's going to get run with Rush, and I think nothing's really going to change. On those boopy maps, he will be able to get played a little bit more because he can boot people more, and the ability lockout is better. So he does have a better chance of hitting some of those boops on those map-specific situations like Legion Garden and a couple others. So I'll put Lucio in B tier. He could end up being pretty good. Like a Queen Brawl comp could be good because they made Queen's Knife so easy to hit. I think Lucio's solid, and actually I am going to put him in A tier. I think Lucio Rush comp specifically in the right situation can be very, very strong. Mei, man. I mean, what a heartbreaker. So listen, I think Mei is mid at best. Like, she's good in poke, and she could fill into the meta depending on what ends up happening. But one of the big reasons I pick Mei in comp in general situations, and I say this as, like, you know, I was the highest ranked Mei player on the North American ladder in season 3, but when everyone said she was bad, I was like rank 13 on the character. She was a lot of fun. Picking Mei into like Tracer and being able to one-shot her was so important. And now with the breakpoint changes, Mei can't one-shot Tracer, right? So like one of the big counters for Mei and like wanting to pick Mei were those breakpoints, and they were a big deal, and they're going to add up, right? And I actually don't even know. She does 150 in the head and I think 70 in the body. Oh my God, she cannot even oh my God, Mei is terrible. I'll keep her in B tier for the wall and the freeze because they're consistent, but her poke, if the meta is poke, Mei will be terrible because she just can't poke. I know her hitboxes are bigger, but like changing those breakpoints to hit those extra shots are a big deal. Mercy. I think Mercy, I'm going to put Mercy in the middle right now. She could be a big breakpoint changer with damage boost, right? And I think like for a lot of characters, that could be a big deal. If the meta ends up becoming really slow, which I think it will be, I'm going to put Mercy in A tier. She's one of the few heroes that got compensation buffs to her passive from 25 to 40%, right? Man, I because I'm leaning to the poke meta, I'm going to put Mercy pretty up high. I think Echo, unfortunately, is going to need a Mercy to be run now. Pharah, I have no idea. I'm going to put Pharah in B tier. I think she's situationally good. If it's a poke meta, she could be good, but like again, situationally good on the right map. And I've not seen her rework, so it's going to be really difficult for me to give you an accurate comment on Pharah, considering I've not played her, so I can't comment on it. Total shot in the dark on that one. I could be totally wrong. If it's poke meta, Reaper's going to be terrible. Reaper's going to be so bad. Like, I know that he can hit more of his shotgun pellets, and that could help him, actually, in mid-range duels. Like, that probably will be a big difference maker. But he'll just get beat at range anyway, and it won't matter. So, Reaper, unless Rush's meta, is going to be terrible. I think Ryan's going to be garbage. Again, if Rush ends up being meta, he could be good, but I think that there's just going to be such a big tank stalemate on the front line. He did get some compensation buffs, and his charge can still get the kills. So I think on the right maps for Reinhardt, he could be good. But I think you're just going to be able to outpick him with raw damage values. Just like his shield is so big and bullets are bigger, like he's just going to get drilled with damage, especially if Bastion ends up being the meta tank. Although if the meta ends up being like a Ryan Bastion comp, maybe Ram would take Ryan's place. Very interesting to see. We'll see though. Hog, I think Hog's going to be bad. He's already super easy to hit. He's going to be even easier to hit now in the head, even though he has more health. If the meta is poke, Hog is just going to get drilled, and I don't think he'll get picked over a Sigma or a Ramatra or something like that. Soldier, I think A tier in poke. Again, he can kind of run around, do his own thing. He's got a high fire rate, so it's going to be easier for him to mark targets with the DPS passive. We'll see where Soldier ends up staying. Well, I think he's going to be A tier. Symmetra, I think she's going to be C tier, especially in a poke meta. She'll be good on the right maps where you can run Rush with Ryan Sim. Kind of in Reinhardt's boat. I think Torb is going to be really good. Torb in these poke metas always excels. The turret angle is great. He's going to hit more of his little Cheetos. His right click is going to do an insane amount of damage. Torbjorn right click, don't sleep on. I think Torb is back for all you Torb mans out there. You're going to have a good time with him. So yeah, Torbjorn A tier for me. Tracer, I'm going to put her in B tier. Right? I mean, she benefits the least and loses the most from the default health on these targets being higher. I know she might be able to hit more shots, but I'm not sure how her hits are going to register because they don't register too well online. So I don't really know what to say on this one. I think that she'll get picked depending on when we get to our boy Zenyatta, who I'm going to have a lot to talk about for Zenyatta, guys. A lot to talk about on Zenyatta, okay? Unless Zen is really, she could be good. She could be picked if Zen is good. If Zen Ana ends up being meta with like Ball or some shit to dive the Zen Ana, Tracer will end up being good. But that's like the only situation that I really see. Because again, I'm still leaning towards that poke meta. Widow. Guys, 200 HP Widow. More time to react to her with the immos, which is what it is, really. Like, her healing, the thing with Widow is that it's burst impact anyway to kill her, right? So it's harder to burst impact kill her because she'll grapple away, meaning she has more time to get hit with the immos. And her shots are going to be way bigger, right? Meaning it's way easier to get one-shots on Widow. Widow can still one-shot every squishy in the game. Her max headshot damage is 300. Hanzo's was nerfed to 225. Widowmaker is going to be insanely strong. She's going to be even more annoying to deal with, in my opinion, and because she's just going to be so easy to play. And with that one-shot being easy, Jesus Christ, watch out. I think Widowmaker is going to be a big winner, which has me freaking scared, especially if this game ends up getting slowed down a ton. Widow sitting back in the map, it could create another season 2. And man, if it does, it's time to talk about freaking 5v5, man. Winston's just going to get marked the whole game. Like, you're just going to pierce him with big damage because heroes like Bastion and Torb are going to be good. I'm actually going to put Winston in C tier. Bastion and Torb end up being good, man. Chalk it. Like, chalk it, Winston players. It's Jover. Sorry, Winton. I'm going to put Zarya in B tier. I think she'll have her maps where she's good. If her bubbles cleanse the DPS passive on herself and she's not affected as much by the healing nerfs from Cauterize, that could be pretty good for her. So we'll see on that one. I think Zarya is B tier but has her maps. Now Zenyatta, again, I think it's going to be a poke meta. Discord is going to be even more essential with the base health pools on these targets being higher, especially on a lot of these tanks like a Roadhog, like a lot of these other heroes. I think can reduce the healing that Hog gets. You know, he could be very, very bad. And Zen, man, the game slowed down. Discord's going to be powerful. His damage output's insane, and his power creep has been unbelievable, right? Zenyatta mains rejoice. I think Zenyatta players are the biggest winners out of anybody on this pack. Zen players rise up. Ana, man, I mean, I think Ana's an A-tier character simply because she's a must-pick into many, many popular characters in the game, and she's a fan favorite. I think you're still going to be able to play Ana and get some value, but you're probably going to be pretty vulnerable. But I will say I think Ana's one of the biggest losers because her... no. I think it's Immo heroes. I'm going to put her in B tier. I'm going to put her in B tier. I think Immo heroes or heroes that can apply a damage boost like Mercy are going to be so, so important. Ana's heal nade could be good, but... man, they just keep making the character harder and harder to play. I'd like to put her in A tier, but I think the Immo heroes are going to outlast her. Sombra, I think she's going to be B tier at best. I mean, if it's Ana Zen and the meta becomes Ball with Ana Zen, and then you could see Sombra Tracer Ana Zen, which is a meta that's gotten run quite a bit, a comp that's been run quite a bit. That's how Sombra's going to find her spot. Or if Sigma's good, you can end up hacking him out of Flux, and some maps Sombra will be played. I think she's middle of the pack. I think she'll be pickable. I'm not sure how good she's actually going to be, though. Okay. Because Virus wasn't updated. Orisa, man. Oh, boy. I'm not really sure where to put her, to be honest. I'm going to put her in the middle of the pack. I don't think they removed her fall off. She is meta right now, but because she can get shot so much, her healing is going to be pretty much permanently 20% lower. But she also is so tanky. No, I think if Zen ends up being good, I think it's going to force Orisa out a lot more because that Discord she can't do anything about. Plus Discord plus healing mitigation on her. Man, I mean, she's going to be harder to play. I think Sigma could replace her on the poke maps where she could get picked, and she was good at forcing out Mauga too and Hog. Mauga and Hog being the two biggest losers on this patch in the tank role. I mean, come on now. Oh, speaking of biggest losers. Guys, I might put Doom in D tier, and here's why I'm going to put Doom in D tier. I'm putting Doom in D tier for the lulz. I think Doomfist is the biggest loser here because they buffed the wrong part of his kit. Like, they buffed the damage on Empowered Punch to compensate, or Punch to compensate, but Punch is never what gets you kills. You have to hit your shots to follow up. And while they did, here's the key. If the hit registry on the Doom pellets on the shotgun are better, it could help him a lot because he's really buggy with them right now. I think that's a big reason why I don't play him. It feels like they don't register. And sometimes it feels like he does a ton of damage, and sometimes it feels like he does none. If they fix the bullet reg on a shotgun, and I talked to Quake about this, he could end up being pretty good, but I think they nerfed the wrong part of his kit, and Doom relies on strong healing to stay alive, especially with the global ult charge nerf by 10%. Doom, tag that nerf on top of Doomfist's, like, changes to his ult, where they let him heal in the ultimate, like, you know, he's not going to get Meteor Strike nearly as much, which is what he needs a lot. And he's just been hit with, like, think about this, guys. Doom's been hit with, like, a 30% ult increase across the board, right? Like, I was really hoping to see them compensate with a little bit of, like, the ult reduction. Like, maybe Doom gains 10% more ult charge just to offset the global ult charge. Like, a lot of this stuff probably went past them. And it's going to take them several seasons to fix it, and it could end up being worse for the game. So that'll be interesting, but I think Doom's going to be terrible. He doesn't have the gun damage to follow up, unless they fix the hit registry, in which case it might be a different conversation, but he's going to be hard-marked the whole game by DPS, and he's not very good in the poke. So I think he might have his maps where he's good specifically, but that's going to be it. You've got to have the right team to play around you. Solo queue Doomfist players, good freaking luck. Your hero might be doo-doo. Moira, I'll put her in B tier because I think all supports are B tier at least. But I think she's a big loser on this patch because all she can do is heal, and anybody DPS shooting are going to heal 20% less. So I actually think Moira's a big loser. I'm going to put her in C tier here because she, at least Ana has nade, right? Ana has sleep, but Moira's entire kit effectively will be 20% weaker throughout this game. Brigitte, she got some compensation buffs. If poke is good, Brig will be bad, but she's such a strong character in general. She's so good into anti-cheese, so when you play the right one tricks, you can just get a ton of value. Just because she's like the nuclear deterrent, I can't ever rank her lower than A tier. I don't know. It depends on the map. Like, for example, if you're playing Havana or Circuit Royale, where Brig Sigma comps are really, really good, she could get picked there, right? But other than that, I'm unsure, but I can't rank her lower than A. She's that strong of a character, at least, if not S tier. But yeah, Brig, I think, still is just a solid pick, especially in those proper situations. On those big poke maps, though, gotta be careful. Ball, 20% less healing the whole game. I know he got some more health. I'm not convinced about Ana Zen. The main way Ball will get played is if Zen is meta, and because I've ranked Zen so far up here, I'm actually going to put Ball in C tier. I don't think Ball's a bad hero. I just think this kind of negates him, and like he's going to, if Discord is good, he's going to struggle a lot. We'll see, though. I think that he definitely could find a surprise way to sneak on up in this meta, by the way. He definitely could on the right maps, especially, too. But, man, that map is not going to be coming around often, and you better pray that it does. So, okay, Ashe, I think, is good. Bob got some compensation buffs. She's good with poke, and most importantly, when you combine her with a Mercy, she's really good. I think these Mercy pocketed DPS. Damage boost is going to be so much more important when targets' health pools are higher, right? And pocket pits and keeping DPS up on off angles, since they have to fill the off tank role, is going to be super important. And Mercy's the best pocket pick in the game. Mercy could be really, really strong this patch. This could be one of Mercy's better patches that we've seen. Baptiste, S tier, without a doubt. He's got really strong cooldowns, which aren't really as affected by the DPS passive. With tanks getting healed less, the immortality bailouts are going to be even more essential than before. I think Bap is just a super strong character. Window's going to be needed to finish off targets. I think these slow poke metas always favor Baptiste. She's one of the best in them. Baptiste S tier, without a doubt. Same with Sigma. I think Sigma has his shield to zone off DPS to stop the DPS passive from proccing on him. He's got his grasp to heal from. He has the cooldowns to actually deal with a poke meta. Anytime I think it's going to be a poke meta, Sigma's always going to be in that S tier, baby. Every single time. That's the kind of character he is. Oh, man. You guys know how much I love Echo, man. You guys know how much I love Echo. It's pretty astounding to me that they thought that the thing that needed to get adjusted with Beam was the width of it, when they have really struggled to understand that, like, hey, if you increase every target's health, it's going to be harder for Echo Beam to finish off the targets, and you're going to have to start Echo Beam way later. Previously, like right now, if you started Echo Beaming a target at 2/3 health, you could still get the kill because of how long it took on the unramp damage to get them to half health. It was faster, right? But since they didn't increase the beam duration, they increased the width, or the damage, they increased the width to make it easier to hit. That's not going to matter, really. Especially when everybody else is going to be hitting more shots on you. My girl Echo, man, as much as I love her, I'm going to have a hard time ranking her higher than B tier. If it is a poke meta, you'll be able to force her, but she'll fill into that meta. The copy changes are good, and I love Echo so much, but this was a massive indirect nerf to Beam. It's going to be much harder for it to use, and I think the net nerfs indirectly to her from erasing everybody's health pools are going to be way, way worse than any Beam width that they change. Be cool if they talk to the players before doing this stuff, but they're taking a big shot in the dark here. I think Echo is without a doubt a loser. Sojourn, I'm going to put in A tier. Again, these poke meta, she does really well. She's a great Mercy pocket. I almost want to put Echo in here because she's pocketed by Mercy really well. And New Copy could end up being good. But no, I think she's going to, especially with hit scan all being way easier, the hit scan are going to benefit the most from this. Echo, man, she's not going to be able to control space very well. I think she got indirectly nerfed big time. Queen, I heard was pretty good. Queen brawl comps could end up being good, especially on the right maps. She's got the shout to help herself. She's got Carnage, and she has the ability to heal herself, which can help offset the mitigation of healing. So she's got a couple better answers than some of the other heroes. So I think Queen could end up being pretty good, and her knives are going to be way easier to land, which, argue about that how you will. No surprise here. I mean, I'm not even going to bother. Yeah, she got some nerfs, but man, Suzu is still the best ability in the game. Kitsune is still one of the best ultimates in the game. TP through walls. Well, her 2-tap combo, I do believe, is gone for most characters. I mean, we'll see. I still think Kiriko is an insanely powerful character, and I don't think she's going anywhere. I think her utility is just too damn strong. Ramattra. I think Ram could be really, really good. His ability to block is going to be solid. His buffs post last season, where he can kind of compete in the poke meta, but also be the brawl tank should brawl end up being good. I think you can pick a lot of Ram. Now, is he S tier? No, I'll put him in A tier. I think he's A tier. I love Ram. Ram's really, really fun. So we'll see. He can anchor on point by himself and brawl, unlike a Reinhardt, and he also kind of fills that Sigma role. He's like a medium between Ryan and Sig. So we'll see. He has options for himself with his damage negation. Lifeweaver, I think, is actually a pretty big loser. I'm going to put him in B tier. If the meta is poke, he can kind of just sit in the back of the map. Well, he can sit in the back of the map and heal. I'm going to put him in A tier, actually. Like, I think Weaver, and I say this, like, not everyone's going to be able to get value on Weaver, but I think good Weaver players still would be able to. Now, the heal passive does hurt Weaver a lot, and he's going to be a lot behind. He's going to be, no, I got to put him in B tier. He's going to be behind in the fight a lot more, but I think Life Grip and his pocket and his tree are going to be so important to making things unkillable. He's great at sustain, but I just don't think he's better at it than Zenyatta or any of these other characters. Oh, God, Alari. Oh, man. It's poke. She's at least A tier. She's at least A tier if I'm going for poke meta. I mean, wow. The pylon's insane. She doesn't have an MO, but her range damage is so good at contesting these angles. So we'll see. I'll put her at A tier just because I think she fits into poke meta well, and you'll have a lot of maps where you can play her. I don't know how good she'll be at finishing off kills, though. We'll find out. And then Wauga. Doo-doo. C tier at best. Just bad hero. Bad hero right now. Hitbox was way too big. So yeah, here's my Season 9 tier list. My money is on poke meta. I think Zenyatta is the biggest winner. Baptiste will be great. Anytime they've increased health pools, it slowed the game down a lot. And they did not nerf a single immortality ability. And everybody by default is going to be harder to kill now, when previously you at least had to execute a little bit. It was still brain dead easy, but man, all those executions are still there in all the MO heroes, and everybody's health is higher. I'm scared this is going to slow the game down a ton and make it really, really boring, and I'd laugh really hard if it did. Not sure. We'll find out, but much love to everybody at home. Tell me what you think the meta's going to be. This is complete conjecture. I have not even had the chance to play it, but we'll figure it out. Thanks, guys, so much. See you later. Take care. Peace out.